Hello, friends. Welcome to Arizona Teachers of English to Speakers of Other Languages. This is our professional development, and we're very fortunate and grateful for Muhammad Danish, who is going to be presenting to us today. I'd like to share a little bit about AZTESOL. So, AZTESOL reflects the unique multicultural landscape of Arizona, where educators from diverse backgrounds come together to support students from countless linguistic and cultural communities. It's important that we acknowledge our mission and our vision. Our mission is to advance professional excellence in English language teaching, specifically through advocacy, professional development, research, and collaboration. Thank you for joining us today. Our core values are equity, cultural and linguistic diversity, professional growth, and collaboration, all rooted in evidence-based practices. We serve English language teachers, administrators, teacher candidates, and then we also have a variety of community partners. We're so excited about what is to come. Will you please, Muhammad, share a little bit about you?
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. I'm Mohammad Danish and I'm an MPhil scholar from Gwadar, Balochistan, Pakistan. Recently, I published my research article in 2025 about leadership. And the second one is I'm going to publish is about the dropout rates of the male students. Why? Because of the English language. So language barrier is a more comprehensive things are in our society and community. So we should work together. Community engagement is a necessity for to solve the problem, to solve the gap, to find out the gap and solve the problem and solutions. So recently, I'm a teacher at English teacher in public high school, but currently I enrolled in my MPhil. It is about to be finished in 2026. So I also working with the international community. It's called TESOL Academy, Talented TESOL Academy. I ran the session recently. I ran the session, and also European Union, a digital European Union. I'm working with them, and is the third part, TESOL Academy, AZTESOL, Arizona TESOL. It's a very large platform, and I'm very surprising being with you, and I'm not believing yet. Okay, seeing is believing, but I'm not believing. So actually, it's a great and big platform, but I'm down to earth. I'm not a big scholar, but I try my best to participate, to work with your organizations. I'm also running the organization in Gwadar, CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is a very famous right now. So I'm working with the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. It's going to be complete in 2030. You know better that meeting held in Brazil. So in 2015 about Sustainable Development Goals. It's two agenda, two goals are related to our society community. It's about 4 and 5. It's girls' educations and the equity education and the quality education. These are the
Well,
necessity. Why
congratulate,
students? Thank you.
congratulations. And on all the work, and congratulations for joining. Today, we're going to be talking specifically about practical scaffolding strategies for enhancing communicative competence. I wasn't sure if you were complete. It started breaking up when you were talking. Was there anything else that you wanted to share? Because on my end, it was getting garbled.
Thank you so much. So I start my today topic about bridging the gap, practical scaffolding strategies for enhancing communicative competence. So before I start, and good afternoon and good evening, esteemed colleagues. I want to start today with a quick show of hands how many of you have designed what you thought was a perfect lesson plan? Ask your students open-ended questions. Were mid complete absolute silence? Anybody can say? So why do our students freezy? Anybody can share your ideas, please, kindly. Little bit. It's an icebreaker.
Yeah. Yeah. So your
You're
question
allowed to
is
talk.
why do students
Our students are freezy.
freezing? Why do they
Yeah.
freeze?
Freezy, for example, they stage fright, they're
Mm.
shy,
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to talk in English in classroom.
Yeah, so in my
Is that
experience, I've
like
had students who have not said anything because they're shy or because they are afraid that they might not say the words correctly. That's been my experience in working with multi-language learners. Anyone else?
I would agree with you. Language barrier is usually the main issue that makes students shy and not willing to participate in discussions and in activities. Yeah, so I would agree. I couldn't agree more. Language barrier. So they are afraid to make mistakes, especially in some certain cultures. I would talk about my culture. So students are really afraid of making mistakes.
that's great. I think cultural problems is a community problems, cultural problems. For example, in Pakistan, we have more than 200 languages we speak here. Punjabi, Baluchi, and Sindhi, Saraiki, whatever. So a lot of language combined and collected in classrooms. How the students can talk in English? That's not possible for students. So let the students to decide scaffolding. Scaffolding is a Low Agassi. He was the philosopher. He showed this philosophy that the students is free to talk with the students. It's free to pose a questions anytime. Pose a question or ask a questions. Any differentiate between them? Anybody can say? If I say pose a questions, if I say ask a questions, so little bit there are the difference between them. Pose a question, it's mean that you are just saying something else, but you are just letting the students to decide what to say. This workshop focuses on supporting oral language development or scaffolding strategies. What is scaffolding strategies in language? First of all, we should allow the students to talk, to ask questions, either he makes error or mistakes. We should not stop him during talking because it's beginning, and whenever we were the students, okay, what kind of mistake we used to do. So we allow to the students to talk anything else without grammar. I think the first step in the beginner, we should not stop to correct the student according to grammar. When you talk about the language, we allow to him to ask, to speak more and more. Encourage authentic communication in collaborative setting. So collaborative setting is collaborative. It means group wise. So shy students, for example, first I ask a question to the audience, to the respected members. Collaborative settings mean the group wise. A student, when he's shy, it cannot talk to the teacher, he just speaks a lot. Then, and group wise, he can share their thoughts. He can share his thoughts about language. He can mistakes. but he can solve the mistakes. He can overcome to the mistakes anytime. So design collaborative speaking activities. We should have a lesson plan. We should have some design, some structures for the students in group wise, like activities. JAGSA is one of them. It's very wonderful activity. When we are talking, it's brainstorming. It's a very great activity. Blindfolding is an activity. We can add it. Promote communicative competency among learners. How we can promote? We can promote them. We can promote them. We should, as a teacher, language teacher, we can. So can anybody see the slide? So I think everyone can see it. The promote communicative competency among learners. So the outcomes are the learning objectives as a necessity thought. It's a necessity thought for everyone to promote the learners. The learners have the stages. You know the cognitive system of the human body. Whenever the child start to learning, okay, he has in beginner in first stage. In first stage, he feels some trouble. Okay, now I come to the point of session agenda. Theory anchor, foundation, and the ZCVD. Okay, core strategies are scaffolds for active production. Practice, design, interactive lesson application. Our roadmap is simple. We will look at the theory, understand why students freeze, introduce our core strategies. Okay, I will tell you. To has that cognitive load, and finally move to cognitive load. Whatever the cognitive is the practice, is a philosophical thought. It is derived the word of cognitism. It's a Jean Piaget. He was the very famous philosopher. He worked a lot in education. Cognitive, everything should be related to the mind and the mental process. How to cover the mental process of the students to talk more and more, and to talk more and more in English and speak more, and their observations, to take out their observation of the students about the lesson, about the chapter, about language. Language barriers is one of the problem that we face in our society and community. We should design where you will apply these tools yourself when a classroom goes completely silent. Okay, as a teacher, whenever we enter in the classroom, we should understand the agenda. Now, the second picture you see, there's a lot of analyzing, proposing, collaborative problem. For example, we have the step-by-step problem, okay? Something we can analyze, but before analyze, we can do some work in the beginning, okay? Then we assess them. Assessment, okay? Assessment is the part of the our learning process. We assess the students. Either students is getting more and more, either he can talk in English, either is understanding the grammar and the rules. Okay, this assessment is it comes to diagnosis system also, formative and summative. Okay, formative is ongoing assessment. When we start to the students level, and when we evaluate to the students mindset, we should know by the help of by the process of the formative. When the last one, when we can adjust the result, it's called summative. Summative is the final result of the students. Okay, now tier questioning is very great topic. I think I had it in here. Okay, For example, I just give the example of the beginner, intermediate, and advanced. 3 levels we should follow. Life as a 3 stages. When we born, when we come adolescent, when we come the stage of the old person. Okay, the 3 stages are more necessary. And the one is Socratic method. When we start the Socratic method, it's mean to asking. For example, here's written, do you agree with X, Y, or? So let the students to think either he can agree or not. Whatever he has the observation, whatever he has the desire, he should share with the teacher. Okay. And when we become the intermediate level, some clarification is used. For example, can you rephrase what you just said using in my opinion? It is the, it is the question, it is a question having the answer to in a detail, little bit in details, not in advanced. But in the advanced level, push for evolution and defense. What evidence support your point, or what would be counter argument? And here the point is very necessary. The student should share argument. But the first stage in the beginning, the students cannot share the argument. Why they can share? Because it's in learning process. John Dewey is the very famous philosopher. He used to say that the student should not be stage fright, and he should be in learning by doing. The famous line for John Dewey. Okay, now can you change the slide, please? It is called the Socratic methods also. Tiered questioning is Socratic methods. Okay, another very good chapter, the silent classroom gap. I just asked to the audience that when you come to classroom, the students are silent and students are not moved to the to study and to talk about English language. How you, which kinds of technique or strategies you adopt to bring the students and to spoil or finish the silence of the students in the classroom? Anybody can share the ideas? Have you ever fall in these situations in your life? Okay, sentence frames and organizers. Graphic organizer structure ideas before speaking. Okay, make some graphic, make some mind map, make some mind mapping, make some structure before you speak. Before you speak some issues. For example, I want to talk some issues, some word like media. I want to talk the word media, but before I start to talk about media, so I should have some segment of media. Yes, graphic organizing is very essential part for the learners, for the speakers. If you start the sentence frames, reducing cognitive load. For example, you're going to write some sentence, it comes in errors, maybe, but you should reduce cognitive load. Cognitive load is a mental process, mental. For example, sometimes your mind is saying that, no, this line is wrong. No, I cannot write this wrong. So, but you have to write it. But you have to start speaking. You have to make the sentences. Either a sentence is correct or incorrect. It's another chapter and another issues. It could be fine or later than. Okay, these called the sentence frames and organizers. Can you change the slide, please? Okay, strategic grouping. Now, grouping, is a very great formula to adopt in the classroom or out of classroom to the learners, okay, and institution centers. For example, I use the word of JAGSA collaboration. So anybody say JAGSA? Anybody can share their idea, please? Have you ever done these kinds of strategies or these kinds of camps and education and gamifications and JAGSA collaboration. Anybody can say?
Yes, I've
No?
used Jigsaw before. I've used
Okay.
Jigsaw collaboration when we're reading, for example, an article that's longer with with adolescent students, junior high students, where we break it up into different sections and we give each of the individuals a role and then they do their part and they come together as a group. So I really like Jigsaw as a strategy. Thank you for sharing that, Mohammed.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for clarify. So JAGSA, I mean, we can, students should be in one line, okay? Every students have the one page or one word to assess this word, okay? So every students has the different mindset. Every students have to say something different, not should be same. Every mind is not. So when we just, diagnose the problem, we can solve the problem of the learners, of the students. Yeah, this is a very good role. I think in grouping best, we can do something with group, where whenever we see in the classroom that the students are shy, the students, they never talk to the teacher, they respect a lot, who respect, and these issues should be solved by the help of JIGSA and role-based groups. Okay. Now we should the lesson plan, scaffolding. Scaffolding, the let to the students to do whatever. A teacher should be the facilitator. Teacher center is not allowed in this section. Student center and teacher center. Student center, it's mean student allowed to talk, student allowed to write whatever he can exist in his mind. We should not stop him. We let them to write, to think, to ask a question, to speak a lot. Okay, but before we should plan a lesson plan, we should make the lesson plan. We should some structure. We should some output task and accountability and reporting. Accountability, it's mean that all the students or learners are the same in the classroom. We should make the report according to the mindset of the students. For example, and I'm in class of 5, okay? I'm in class of 5. So 5 is level students or 5 grade students, they have the different level of the mindset. I should make the report with accountability according to their age, their mindset. Okay, when I enter in the classroom, in the 7th grade classroom, we should follow the rules that according to their minds, according to their age, according to their growth of mind and their capability, we should know these things. And second one is now see practical scaffolding strategies for enhancing communicative. We should have the foundations, core strategies, and fear learning applications. Okay. I said there's 3 states, okay, before I just explained the 3 states. We should follow the foundations, the first stage, core strategies. We have visual scaffolds and verbal scaffolds, and verbally we let the students to talk whatever he can talk it. In the foundation, the students needs temporary support. The teacher should support students temporarily, not permanently. If we support the student permanently, it's mean we are just making the wrong way. Then we have the interactive task into info gaps, JAGSA, structure, feedback loops. And whenever we start to the learning or the teaching to the students in the learning process, allow to the students at the end of the sessions, they can ask a question about the chapter, whatever we have taught. These the practice of scaffolding strategies, enhancing communicative competence. That the students, what students think about the culture. For example, in my classroom, there are 3 cultural person are studying, different kinds of culture students are sitting in my classroom. So I should just match their culture, and I should know about their culture, and then I can talk. For example, my accent is not related to the American accent. because my culture is different. So some Mexican person, they have the different culture. Some Chinese students, they have the different culture and different language, and the accent are different, are not same. So as a teacher, we should allow to the students which accent he can adopt, he can do it. Either he can use the Pakistani accent, American accent, Chinese accent, whatever. But we allow to the learners to learn and to study, and we allow to the students speaks a lot more and more. Yes. Now we have a 3 zone. The first zone, what I can do alone. On the far left, we have tasks students can complete completely independently. For example, we should need to support the student temporarily to students who understand something else. Now the word is the frustration zone. What cannot do yet? Have you ever involved in some situation the students are the victim of the frustration in the classroom, and how you solve the problems? Anybody share their ideas? Have something happen?
Yes, I really like this right here because they also use this in reading. When we're looking specifically at a student's reading level, we can look at their comfort zone, their frustration, and then where there's struggle, but the struggle is good because it's not too hard, and then they can reach a better understanding in what they're doing. So thank you for doing the zone of proximal development. I have experienced this with students and understanding what, as it's known here, the sweet spot takes skill and learning to get better at it as an educator.
Thank you so much for sharing your ideas. Anybody can, please, in spite of host. So participants should participate. I think share their ideas is very necessary, because I must know who are with us right now.
I think, Muhammad, because we left and started again, Dr. Olena's on, I'm on, and we're going to be
Okay.
recording this to put it onto the YouTube. Do you have a
Okay.
specific example that you'd like to share?
Okay, sure. Okay, we have the 3 zone. Okay, as you just explained it. The first zone, we have tasks students can complete completely independently. For example, let the students can complete what he can do in alone. For example, we can the students should sit in alone, and students use their minds about language, about grammar, how to write English, and I let them to students things and to write whatever he can write it. Okay, and alone. We should not make the mix up the in group system, collaborative system. We should not do it in first stage. Let them, because some students have the shy, some students is not in fixed in the groups. Okay, there are a lot of problems maybe can assess. So the frustration zone, what I cannot do yet. For example, why we think that we cannot do these kinds of things yet. I cannot write one sentence. An exam, for example, when I start, I just give the example. When I start the writing an exam, okay, I am good in paper. Okay, I did my paper well. Whenever I come in the interview zone, so I paused. I don't know how to talk. What cannot do yet? I just come to the frustration. So okay, I cannot talk because of one thing that I never used it before. So that's mean there's learning by doing. You should be in learning in every moment of life, and you should speak to the every person. Either you can mistakes, you can write whatever you can write it in your life. Okay, never stop the writing. Also, the sweet spot, the right in the middle is the zone of the, for example, development. This is mean you are the last stage. Okay, and you can you have some great idea, and You do not have and the frustration. Okay, you're not the victim of frustration. I think you can do whatever you can do it, because of the first stage. Okay, beginning, because you start the beginning and you start the student alone, you can do it. Okay, because the students should the teacher should enhance to the students that the students can do whatever you can do it. Can you change the slide, please? Thank you so much. Question and discussions. Now, anybody can have the question about this, scaffolding, this today topic about Arizona TESOL Academy. I just share my ideas a little bit. When can I share my idea?
Yes,
Raise your
please,
hand.
please,
Okay,
Mohammed, share
okay.
your ideas. And thank you.
Thank.
I just want to say thank you so much for your precious time, for sharing your expertise, and for providing this content knowledge to the AZTSOL community. We're very grateful for that. But yes, absolutely share what your ideas are.
Okay, thank you so much. First time I just joined the school in 2013. Whenever I enter the classroom, the students are shy, naughty, or different kinds of cultural students sitting. They have the different language. Okay, some language maybe I understand, some maybe is out of my mind and out of understanding. So they start to making fool to me first of. In this stage, the teacher should come the first stations more, but I didn't. I understood this is the environment of education. We should not take the sticks and to start to beating to the students. We should not to compel to the students to leave the classroom. I think we should work with teach with the students, work together in the collaborative system. I believe the scaffolding is a very, very great technique and strategies. Whenever I just applied in my life, I got many reward certificates in my life. And also I call the best teacher award. I nominated for the best teacher award in my district in Balochistan and Pakistan level. One reason that I use pragmatism and I use the philosophy in my life. I believe in a philosophical thought should be involved in educational system environment. As a teacher, we should help to the students. We should temporary support to the students. Students can bring the chance, and they are our new generations. And thank you so much to inviting me to such a great platform. I'm not, able to talk more. I'm not, you make me some value in my life, and I never forget this today, the sessions. And thank you so much. Arizona TESOL Academy is one of the largest, biggest academy. Whenever I just got the session, and as a speaker, as a online workshop, so I'm very happy, and I suggest to my principal, some principals, and from Karachi, they are my friends. They also want to work with your organization. So I just ask a question that they can join or participate in this beautiful, wonderful group and organizations. They help the students, learners to speak more, to make correction. I think this is the great opportunity. However, I got it. Thank you so much.
We're so very grateful. Thank you so much, Muhammad Danish, for providing this professional development on practical scaffolding strategies for enhancing communicative competence. We focus today specifically on using sentence frames, applying graphic organizers, and creating collaborative speaking activities. Muhammad also dove into the zone of proximity and helped us to understand that. So thank you very much, friends. Remember to like, follow, and share. We appreciate you watching this professional development. And if you register and sign up, you'll receive a certificate for this. Thank you, and everyone have a wonderful day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank